Hello and welcome to the Broke Digger Gaming channel once again. Today we are going through the top 10, or rather my top 10 of 2023. This is going to be a countdown. I will also be mentioning honorable mentions, that is stuff that might be like DLCs and other games that just made it outside my top 10, and also a couple of dishonorable mentions which should really have turned out to be something better, and for some they have, but for me they were quite a disappointment, and that is a lot to do with the way the publisher and developer supported the product and with their very poor performance on virtually every single console, and certainly on my PC, which is not exactly slow. So let's begin this top 10 countdown, shall we? Number 10, Spider-Man 2, PlayStation 5. While it's nothing revolutionary, it's a very basic Spider-Man plot. The devs definitely kept it safe. However, the work put into the visuals and the types available in the game and how well they run are a testament to Insomniac's amazing optimization and coding teams. The game makes you feel like you're Spider-Man. Looks great, and there's plenty to do if you don't want to just be lined for the main quest, which isn't really too long. This was enough to get Spider-Man 2 as number 10 for my list. Number 9, Forza Motorsport. Many people have found several issues and game-breaking bugs in the game, including one where it doesn't save your game process after races. I had none of these issues on either my Series X or PC. The Series X version looks sublime in performance RT 60 FPS mode. Locked without doubt, it is a much better looking game than GT7. The community has been split, with Turn 10's RPG style system of racing to perfection to earn points RPG style to upgrade your car, rather than being able to upgrade your car with plenty of money from previous Forza games. I have had no issue with this. Some see it as wanting everything now instead of patiently tuning your car to perfection, making it king of your race course while slowly upgrading it. It will be interesting to see what Turn 10 does in the future in regards to the RPG system, as there is a definite large percentage of players who dislike it for one reason or another. But just remember, boys and girls, this isn't the Horizon series. Number 8, Everspace 2 for PC and now Xbox. One of the best sci-fi shooters in recent memory. For me, the best one since Elite Dangerous, which is quite some time ago. A roguelike with a great story and some interesting elements behind the scenes. A wonderful crafting system, range of space systems to explore and ships to upgrade as you work your way to your story. I've been there since the beta period, and this game just keeps getting better and better. As a sci-fi shooter fanatic, this is my number 8. Number 7, Baldur's Gate 3, Larian's long-awaited RPG. I have been an early access adopter of this game since the very start. Have to be honest, I could never get into the Divinity series of games, nor Divinity 2, which some say is one of the best, if not the best, RPGs of all times. I found Baldur's Gate 3 in Early Access Chapter 1 to be too similar to Divinity 2, which, like I said, could never get me over the line in regards to that series. However, once the full game came out and I restarted the chapter and saw the completeness of Larian's plan, things completely changed. If it hasn't already swept all the awards this year, it will at minimum best RPG. For me personally, the reason it is not any higher on my top 10 is really my fault entirely. With the mass of top games this year, starting at the very beginning of 2023, I have yet to make it out of the end of chapter 1 of this game. I know that if I had, it would have been higher on my list, but I just did not have enough time. However, it is definitely and absolutely should be in the top 10 for most outlets. Number 6, Alan Wake 2 PC. The long-awaited return of the horror survival series Alan Wake 2 hits all the right notes in the horror department while splitting the story between two main protagonists and adding an investigative aspect to it. Beautiful graphics and generally the game launched relatively polished with little or no bugs, with quality AAA voicing and acting performances. You can tell they put a lot of effort into the entire game, really. Lots of lore flashbacks to the game Control and the original Alan Wake, if you've played those games, which I would suggest you do if you haven't played this yet. If you like survival horror, loved Control or Alan Wake, or both, this is a 100% guaranteed good time. Number 5. Resident Evil 4 Remake, PlayStation 5. The remake to the original, and some say the best Resident Evil game of all time, probably in the top of 90% of the gaming public for this year. Having never played the original Resident Evil 4, I know, you're shocked. This was an even better experience for me, as I purposely avoided spoiling myself, apart from a couple of key scenes which were really hard not to see over the years. Definitely one of the top games this year, and I think equals Resident Evil 2 Remake in those stakes. A really good survival horror. Dishonorable mentions: Final Fantasy XVI, PlayStation 5. Not only is this one of the worst Final Fantasy games I've ever played, the devs turned out to be rude and arrogant when their Japanese fans critiqued the game poorly. The game still plays to varying degrees left and right of 60 FPS in performance mode to this day. It has the most drab hub world I have seen in a AAA game for nearly a decade. In fact, I've seen indie games that cost 5% of this have better hub worlds. Also, getting 50 FPS in performance mode while talking in a still scene with a bartender in a hub really should not be a thing. The story is interspread by flashy mini boss or boss battles to keep the player's mind away from realizing that this is the worst Final Fantasy RPG in years, in almost every single way. And by RPG, I really mean an action game with some very basic RPG elements. The highlight is definitely the combat, but it is not enjoyable at 30 FPS in my personal opinions. And to this day, the performance mode is absolutely horrendous on PlayStation 5. I look instead to 2024 and Final Fantasy VII Part 2, which will be coming out in February of 2024. Again, a contentious argument, especially when discussing this with PlayStation and Final Fantasy fans, but you can't argue with some of the core issues that this game has. A massive disappointment. Jedi Survivor. This game could be swapped with any game in the honorable mentions or the top 10, depending on your point of view. Regardless, the optimization and bugs in all three versions, Xbox, PlayStation and PC, were absolutely out of this world. Easily the worst released game or AAA game in regards to bugs and optimization this year. Some people still claim that the PC version doesn't run as well. This started off absolutely fantastically, but I cannot honestly, on a personal note, put this game in the top 10 together with Final Fantasy XVI because of the way the developers handled the situation and how long it took them to get the games running to some sort of standard. In fact, both games to this day aren't what they should be, and it is very sad because they're two very highly anticipated AAA games. Let us hope that 2024 has less rushed AAA games with less bugs, less slowdown, and more optimization. Number 4, Diablo 4, PC, Series X, and Asus Ally. Each of the top 4 games on this list has done one thing consistently for hours or for a span of a whole experience of the game. Put simply, it made me so concentrated and addicted to it that hours disappeared and whole days went playing the game without realizing what time it is or with minimal rest breaks. For many, this may be something quite normal, but for me, after 25 plus years of playing games since the 8-bit era and my general poor health in recent years, this is a very and precious commodity. All top 4 games on this list share this commonality to an extreme degree. So on to 004. This year is one of the rare examples of a AAA game coming out working pretty much perfectly with minimal bugs, glitches, or other problems that have plagued games such as Jedi Survivor. Now bear in mind, I am only talking about the single player campaign mode. The seasons content is not part of my review of this game, but just the single campaign. I went into this game thinking it'll be like Diablo 3, but nothing prepared me for the size and scope of the game, as well as the polish. An absolutely awesome game that deserves to be in the top 4, and if you have not played this game yet, I wholeheartedly recommend the single player experience. Number 3, Starfield, PC and Series X. This is the quintessential Bethesda RPG in space. If that is what you are looking for, it is here in spades. The performance on Series X, despite being limited to 30 FPS, has been near flawless. The PC unfortunately suffered at launch due to Bethesda's and Xbox's little back handshake with AMD, and FSR 2.0 looked and performed rather poorly on my Intel system with my 3080. Since the latest patch, which includes DLSS, this is fixed. I have also seen next to zero bugs and have had no crashes, none, either on my Xbox or my PC. My Asus Ally crashes this game a little bit too often for my liking. Again, it's a very divisive game for some people, and you split the Bethesda community actually. Some people think the opening is too slow. For me, it's a very nice slow burn, and just like Diablo 4, for dozens of hours I disappeared and continue to disappear into this world. The space combat part of the game can be better and was probably overplayed a little bit by Bethesda, but it is definitely still number 3 on my list. Like with the previous game of Diablo 4, I have lost countless dozens of hours before realizing that most of my day disappeared playing this game. Number 2, Dead Space Remake on PC. Due to the abysmal ports of both the PlayStation version, which I played on performance mode, and it looked like roadkill, I then got this on my Series X, playing it in resolution mode, and it played absolutely horrendously. 30 FPS is just not great for a game like this that requires twitch perfect close combat with these sorts of enemies in the dark in most of the game. It wasn't until after finishing the first level I quit the console versions and decided to get the PC version instead, running on my 3080 i9 10850K. That is when I saw what the developers truly intended to show in this game. The detail and work put into the levels, the small things, all that was missing or in too low res on the consoles. On the PC, the game shone brightly. The extra work they put in, it's almost a new game compared to the original Dead Space, and it's the definitive experience for survival horror. An amazing experience on a PC that can handle it. The atmosphere on a headset, and it's all here. Also, out of the box, has come in with little or no bugs and zero crashes for me. I'm hopeful the devs have received the go-ahead for a Dead Space 2 remake. I was so pumped after finishing this game, I went and downloaded the original number 2 on my Xbox, but I hesitated thinking the devs have got an absolute winner here. I'm almost convinced that they will be greenlit for a number 2, and so I still hold out hope that early next year we get a news announcement of them being in pre-production for Remake Dead Space number 2. This game absolutely blew me away by a wide margin, and only one game managed to top it. Number 1, Game of the Year, Remnant 2 and the DLC, The Awakened King. What can I say about this game? It is the quintessential Soulsborne. This game is an incredible achievement for Gunfire Games, topping the original Remnant in every single possible way, either solo or playing with others. The sense of wonder, curiosity, and sheer explorative joy cannot be denied. Every time you step through a new portal, you're heading into a dungeon or area you can't predict. Every foggy boss door leads to a fight you can't fully prepare for because you don't know what's coming. There are secrets upon secrets upon secrets, things you'll walk right by the first time. There are multiple choices within each world, too, with characters to kill, characters to side with, to bend the knee or to stand defiant. Despite a few shortcomings, Remnant 2 remains one of the most creative, fascinating and compelling games of the last few years, and stands as a testament to what this developer can do when they aim to impress. The base game, together with a DLC released just prior to Christmas, The Awakened King, this is by far and away my number one choice as Game of the Year, and I look forward to DLCs 2 and 3, and hopefully sometime in the future a third sequel, because this absolutely deserves it. Honorable mentions: Horizon Forbidden West DLC. Great DLC, finally completely unhampered by crossplay to the previous generations of PS4, making it a PS5 exclusive. An absolutely awesome, stunning world experience. One of the best DLCs of the last few years. Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. If this was a standalone game, together with patch 2.0, this would have made it easily into my top 10. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Larger, deeper, more immersive, with a lot more player agency. Play the game and explore the way you want to. What else needs to be said? This could be swapped for a game from my top 10, and no doubt many of you would. Endless Dungeon, a roguelite tower defense indie with great characters, storyline and lore. Lords of the Fallen, a very good attempt at a Dark Souls-esque action RPG on PS5, but I wish I had played it more on PC, as once you see the game at higher res, the PlayStation version looks and plays average at best. RoboCop Rogue City, a big end of the year AA surprise showpiece by developers of Terminator Resistance, has achieved phenomenal sales and a true love story to the B-grade RoboCop movies in the best possible sense. Dead Island 2 for PlayStation 5 should have been the number one contender for the worst game of the year, considering the horrendous dev cycle that had it spun for almost a decade, but instead turned out to be one of the better games of 2023 and a very nice surprise to the start of the year. A fantastic zombie survival horror game. Hogwarts Legacy in PC. Despite the poor optimization, it is a fantastic game brimming with content for every Hogwarts fan. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon on PlayStation 5. The latest From Software title, while probably not as popular and as well received as, well, Elden Ring, but who can really touch that game? It is indeed one of the better games of 2023. Incredibly difficult, but if you like mech combat combined with a variety of customization option, this is the game for you. It takes a little bit of time to warm up, but once it does, it won't let go. So if you've made it this far to the video, thank you very much for watching and listening to me prattle on again. Everybody's got their list of top 10s, and I'm sure that many games on my list would have made it to your list as well. But the beauty of these things is that everyone's is going to be slightly different, because everyone has their own tastes. So I look forward to hearing down below what games you thought should have been on the list or should not have been on the list. What did you think of the honourable and dishonourable mentions? Was I a bit too harsh, or was I spot on? Please tell me. We've got plenty more to see, hear and listen on the Digger Gaming channel. But until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Thanks for watching the video until the end. If you liked it, subscribe and leave me a comment